Hey everybody, welcome back to Royal Tarot Readings. This is my fun channel that I do for tarot readings on the royal family. All information presented in this video is for fun and entertainment purposes only. It's fun. It's tarot. I'm just a gal with cards. Alright, so you can hear my voice. It's a little scratchy today. I think it's just the pollen, but I did notice it in the last video too. So just ignore my voice. Just some pollen going on here. Today is Mother's Day here in the U.S. and in many places in the world. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. I hope today is wonderful for you. I hope you enjoy spending today with your loved ones, and I wish you nothing but happiness on this wonderful Mother's Day. All right, everybody. What I'd like to read on today is, let's take a look at what would things be like if Diana, Princess of Wales, had lived? What would have happened? What would have happened if she would have lived? Let's ask a few questions, especially about the children, and see what they would have done. All right, so today I'm going to use the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot Deck by Matt Hughes. Lovely tarot deck. It's always a good one to use when asking about mystical questions, the past, or things about people who have departed. All right, so shuffle alert. If you do not like my shuffling, please feel free to skip ahead. You will not hurt my feelings. I just want you to enjoy the video. All right, here we go. If Diana, Princess of Wales, had lived, would Harry have married Meghan? Would that still have happened? Would Harry still have married Meghan if Diana had lived? And would William have married Catherine? Would that still have happened? Would Prince William still have married Catherine if Diana had lived? And what would Harry be doing today if Diana had lived? What would Harry be doing today if Diana had lived? And what would William be doing today if Diana had lived? Whoops. Five of Pentacles. Ooh. Okay, how interesting. It's being cut out. Okay. Or financial poverty. Oops. All right. Four of Wands. It's about a happy home. Whoops. Okay. It's also about a good foundation in the royal family. All right. So what would William be doing today if Diana had lived? And would Charles have married Camilla? Now, I'm referring to him as Charles right now. I know he was Prince Charles back then. So would he have married Camilla? They were married in 2005, which I think was about 8 years after Diana passed away. So would Prince Charles, as he was back then, would he still have married Camilla if Diana had lived? And would Charles and Diana have become good friends? Would they have become good friends if she had lived? It's been, goodness, how many years has it been? 1997? So, my goodness, almost 30 years, not quite, since she passed away. Would they have become good friends by now? And then, would Diana have remarried? Would she have remarried if she had lived? And, whoops, oh goodness, wow. These cards are ready to talk. So, Eight of Swords, released from a trap. How interesting, okay. And pull these over. I thought of another question I think I'm just going to throw out there. If she had not passed away in that car crash, Four of Pentacles, would she have passed away anyway? Oh, the Empress Reverse. Okay, would she have passed away sometime before now? I mean, was that just destiny for her? That she would pass away at an early age? Would she have passed away anyway? All right. Oops. Goodness. World and Three of Wands. Okay. World is very public, and Three of Wands is about watching and waiting. All right, we'll do one more shuffle here. All right. So I have 8 questions. Whoops. Ooh. Okay, interesting cut. It goes on top. Okay. I get so confused sometimes. Okay. 8 questions. All right, here we go. Hope everybody is well today. All right, underlying energy is the Five of Cups in reverse, Devil, oh dear, 10 of Wands. This is the 3rd time that I'm doing this reading. I've done it with, this is now the 3rd deck, and I'm seeing the same cards. Okay, all right. Five of Cups in reverse is about overcoming regret and disappointment. The Devil in reverse is about freeing yourself from dark energy, addiction, freeing yourself from temptation. And the Ten of Wands is a burden. All right, I owe the Devil swear jar. Okay, if you are new to my channel, the Devil air swear jar is here. And whenever the Devil shows up in these readings, I will add $1 to the swear jar. And at the end of June, we are going to take this money, and you guys are going to vote on what charity we're going to donate this to. And I know we've got quite a bit in here so far. I mean, we got quite a bit. I did some counting before. I mean, I don't know if you can see all that. We got a lot in here. So I think we're coming up on $50 here. So at the end of June we'll donate this, and the end of December we'll donate from July to December. So you guys will vote on that for me. All right. So let's go to our first question. Would Harry have married Meghan if Diana had lived? The Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. All right, so upright, this is about the line of succession. This is about, generational wealth. This for the royal family, this is the line of succession. So in reverse, it's about the line of succession ending or not being in the line of succession. Somehow you're skipped. You're not part of it. Would he have married Meghan? In my other two readings, I got the same answer. He would have anyway. And it would have caused a lot of regret and disappointment that she would have had to get over. And he would need to free himself from addiction and this dark energy and temptation, and it would just be a burden. Wow. Can't believe I'm getting the same cards. I've done this 3 times. Wow. Okay. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I think he still would have married Meghan, and it still would have been a burden. He still would have gotten involved with her. He still would be being cut out of the family. Wow. Yeah. All right. Would William have married Catherine? The Eight of Wands. That's very fast-moving energy. Yes, he would have. And nothing would have changed on that. In fact, he might have even married her more quickly than he did. Because if you remember, they did break up for a while William was thinking about things, and then they got back together, and that's when he asked her to marry him. So, the Five of Wands, overcoming regret and disappointment, which was probably, if she had lived, she would have needed to overcome the regret and disappointment of things in her life. And she probably would have passed on that wisdom that she gained to William and would have told him, I think she would have encouraged him with Catherine, and that because she was freeing herself from all the temptations, all the addiction. Addiction for her was like the bulimia and the which is the binging and purging eating disorder that she had, and she would have probably helped Catherine, because I think Catherine sometimes does. I'm not saying she suffers from bulimia, but I think she does have. She's very thin, and probably Diana would have given her some good advice on that. And then the burden, she would have helped release this burden. Well, no, it's not a release of burden. She would have helped in any burdens that he was suffering, and she would have helped him very quickly. I think she would have been good guidance for him, but I think he still would have married Catherine. So no change here. I saw that in my other two readings. There would be no change. Harry would still have married Meghan, and William would still have married Catherine. All right. What would Harry be doing today if Diana had lived? The Four of Cups in reverse. All right, so upright, this is about apathy, not being interested in things when they're offered to you. And in reverse, this is about, it can be about trying to understand why you're not interested in things that are offered to you. It can also be about boredom. It can be about depression, separation, inexperience. What would Harry be doing? He'd still be bored. He'd still be depressed. Not much would have changed with him. She would be trying to guide him, to try to give him the benefit of her experience. things that she regretted and was disappointed with, she would have passed that on to him. And she would have really tried to help him free himself from his addictions, because it was a terrible burden. It's a terrible burden for him, and it would have been for her. So she would have tried to help him. But there wouldn't be much difference. I know he says that he's the way he is because he lost his mother. I think he's the way he is because he's just that way. And she would have tried to help him. But, you know, this is all speculation, of course, allegedly, entertainment purposes only, but I think not much would have changed, although hopefully she would have helped him get more therapy. All right, what would William be doing today if Diana had lived? What would William be doing? Temperance in reverse. Well, he would have been out of balance. He might have had a little more dark energy going on with him. I think he would be helping his mother overcome her regret and disappointment in life on things. I think he would have felt out of balance because he would be helping her so much, that she had so many burdens, and she had to free herself from her addictions, her dark energy, which she did have. I mean, we all do. But she was desperately trying to free herself, and it looks like she may have had she may have returned to that at some point if things got to be too much for her. He would have felt a little out of balance. It's very interesting. I did see that in my other reading too. I got the Chariot in reverse actually on that question. Interesting. He would have felt out of control. All right. Would Prince Charles, as he was back then, would he still have married... Yes, would he still have married Camilla? The Four of Swords in reverse. Oh my gosh, no. And I got that in the last reading too. He would not have married her, because there would have been so much regret and disappointment on his marriage to Diana. It would have been a burden. And they would have always been trying to help her regain her reputation, because everyone looked at her as the devil. Everyone looked at her as the horrible, mean person who broke up a marriage. And I think she'd still be struggling with that. This is also, this can also be a death card as well. Not for him, but for maybe, I don't know, Camilla? It's over the Ten of Pentacles. Goodness, there's something we don't know about. There's something we don't know about with Camilla and Charles, and it has to do with the line of succession. I don't think he would have married Camilla, and there's some secret there that we're not privy to that's behind this. Wow, it would have been a terrible burden. Wow, I got the same thing in the last reading. I got that burden card. All right, would Charles and Diana have become good friends if she had lived? The Sun, they actually would have. They would have come to an understanding, and it would have happened rather quickly. Once they got past all the regret and disappointment, and once they got past the idea of this was a burden, once she got past her eating disorder and her addiction issues, they would have. It still would have been a bit of a burden, but they would have become friends. They absolutely would have become friends, and it would have been very, at least in the public eye, it would appear that way. But yeah, this is about something very successful, some completions, a happy outcome. So yeah, it looks like they would have become good friends. Would Diana have remarried if she had lived? The Three of Swords, what a card to get. If she had, she would have had a broken heart. She would have been betrayed. She would have had heartbreak and betrayal. And it's over the Four of Cups. I don't think she was interested in it. She was more interested because she had so much regret and disappointment. Love to her was a burden, and it just introduced, she always had to free herself. So I don't think she would have remarried. She probably would have had many relationships, but I don't think she would have remarried. If she did, it would have ended up with heartbreak and betrayal. And finally, if Diana had not died in that car crash, would she still have died at an early age? The Six of Cups. Wow, that's about your past. That's about childhood. Doesn't that look like Harry there? Wow, that card, that youngster looks very, I don't know if you can see that, looks very much like Harry. Would she have died at an early age? Oh gosh, this represents your past, youngsters, children, where you grew up. She would have spent the rest of her life regretting her childhood. It would have been a burden. She would have had to free herself. I think she would have died in early age because this is representing the past, is representing young energy. That's a good question. She may have died young anyway, and she may have had another child. But it would have turned out very badly because this is devil energy here. It would have been a burden for her. I think she would have. I think she would have died at an early age anyway. I think it all turned out how it was supposed to. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do a wrap up here. Ooh, I got goosebumps on that last one. All right, if Diana had lived, would Harry still have married Meghan? And yes, he would have. Even though he would have, she would have counseled him very strongly against it, because she could see that there would be no continuation of his line, because she would have known, allegedly, that Meghan could not have children. And she was trying to get over regret and disappointment about her own marriage. It had been a burden on her, and she was trying to free herself, and she knew that this was going to be Harry's lot as well. He would forever be regretful and disappointed with his marriage to Meghan. It would be a burden, and he would be forever trying to free himself from the devil. So yeah, it still would have happened, even though she would have counseled hard against it. And then would William have married Catherine? He would have, and he probably would have married her much sooner than he did, because she would have encouraged him, and she would have, given him the benefit of her experience, what she had to do to get over the disappointment and regret in her life. And she would have counseled him on what a burden marriage can be, and then how you have to keep yourself free of any temptation. So I think he would have. So these two events here would not change. What would William be doing today if Diana had lived? Oh no, what would Harry be doing today if Diana had lived? He would still be the same. He would be disinterested in things. He would be bored and impatient and just depressed, just like he is right now. And she would have tried to counsel him quite heavily, but he would have been the burden because of his addictions. He can't free himself from his addictions. She would have probably worn herself out trying to help him. But in the end, you can't help people who won't help themselves. That's just the truth. And what would William be doing if Diana had lived? He would be a little out of balance. I think he would be probably exploring more about any regrets and disappointment he has in his life. He would be talking to her probably how much of a burden it's going to be on him to be king. He would have talked through all those issues with her. I think it probably would have helped him, but he would have felt out of balance, because he would probably be wanting to do whatever his mother advised instead of thinking for himself, and as he is now, as to what he needs to do. So I think it would have thrown him out of balance. And would Charles still have married Camilla? No, he wouldn't have. It would have been too much of a burden. She would never be able to shake the reputation that she had of being a homewrecker, even though, of course, people's opinions and outlook of her have changed quite a bit over the years. But had Diana lived, they would never have been able to move forward. They never would have. would Charles and Diane have become good friends? They would have. They would have been able to work through the regret and disappointment of their marriage. They would have talked about, and it would have happened pretty quickly. They would have talked about the burden that their marriage was and how her addictions are what broke up the marriage. I think they would have explored that a lot and at least come to an understanding. And then, would Diana have remarried? I don't think so. If she did, she would have heartbreak and betrayal. Yeah, I don't think she was interested in it. And then if she had not passed away in the car crash, would she have died at an early age? And I believe she would have. And she may have had another child, but it would have ended up being a burden for her. This child actually would not have had good energy, and it would be something she would regret for the rest of her life, because it would be a burden. Interesting. Very interesting. My goodness. All right, there's your reading. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like and share. And if you're a subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate all my subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber, well, you need to subscribe. Come on, you don't want to miss any more readings like this one. And we have a great community, so you can talk about all the things you'd like to talk about on the readings. But if you do make some comments, please keep it respectful. If you have some constructive criticism on the reading, please do drop that below. I'm always interested in hearing what people have to say to improve the channel. All right, so there we go. Again, happy Mother's Day to everybody. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you again soon on Royal Tarot Readings. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.